You already know the saying, let's make some content. Today we're doing the fuel pump on a 2024 Jeep Wrangler. The fuel pump is at the bottom, so you're going to have to lift the car. And yes, that means dropping the tank. You're going to start off by removing the cover for the supply and return fuel lines. It's going to be two 10mm bolts. Sometimes you can tell the difference between the two lines by one being bigger than the other. Other times, the manufacturer will actually write on the hoses which one is which. You're going to start off by removing the red clips off both the lines. And as you can see, the bottom line, which is a supply line, is bigger than the top line, which is a return line. Majority of the time, whenever I need a fuel assembly from the Jeep Wranglers, I usually come to the bottom and get it from these fuel lines right here. It's a much simpler process in my opinion. Now you're going to firmly press that middle tab, moving the hose out and away. Majority of the time, these lines are pressurized, so make sure you have something to catch the fuel that leaks out. Also, remove the clamp holding down the two lines, so when it's time to drop the tank, it's not getting caught. You'll be surprised how often this actually happens. Now we're going to move on to the back of the tank, where we're going to take off the supply hose and the three hoses still connected to the fuel tank. Remove that blue locking clamp, then remove the fuel tank vent tube, quick connect fitting. With that off, you're going to go behind the fuel tank, removing that red clamp, then remove the fuel vapor quick connect tube. With the hoses off, now you're going to go and remove the fuel supply clamp. Using a 7mm socket, you're going to take off the clamp holding down the supply hose. It's going to be pretty stuck, so hit it with some WD-40 to loosen it up. And with a pick, you're going to separate the mating surfaces, making sure that all of it is disconnected before you pull on it. Now we're going to move on to the middle of the fuel tank to remove the secondary support bracket for the fuel tank. It's going to be two 13mm bolts and four 18mm bolts. You're probably wondering, wow, all these steps and the fuel tank hasn't even been dropped. These are important steps that you got to take before you can get the fuel tank down properly. Now with all the bolts and hoses off, get a hoist to support the fuel tank, because now it's time to remove the fuel tank bolts. It's going to be 8 18mm bolts holding up the fuel tank. Now that we got the bolts off, it's time to lower the tank. Slowly lower the tank and make sure you watch that top portion, because there is still a connector and a hose connected to it. You're going to remove the green clip, then firmly press the middle release clip of the fuel feed line and then remove it from the fuel pump assembly. Also, side note, all these hoses have gaskets. So whenever you remove one, make sure you look inside the gasket to make sure that the gasket is still intact. Now remove the return line and then remove the fuel pump harness connector. And that's all. Now you can slowly finish dropping the fuel tank all the way so that you can remove the fuel tank bracket, and now you can get into the fuel tank. Fully remove that fuel line. There's a chance that from you working, the fuel line can fall. Take extra precaution to make sure that it doesn't fall and that it doesn't kink. There's a special tool to remove the fuel tank bracket, but I didn't have it, so what I used was a hammer and a long flathead. Remember to always replace the O-ring when changing out the fuel pump. With the bracket off, now you can see into the fuel tank. There are going to be three hoses still connected to the fuel pump assembly, so make sure you take extra precaution when removing it. The fuel pump on this latest model was actually hard for us to get our hands on. It was on Galactic backward. The updated fuel pump was actually superseded, so the part number changed, and the manufacturer was now releasing the updated part number. As you can see, there's a lot of fuel vapor lines. That's to prevent pressure buildup and potential leaks. Once you have them all out, compare the parts to make sure they're the same. I'm trying to upload more videos like this week, so check out the page for more.